Welcome to the video. I am super excited about the video we're about to do. This is something I've never before done on my channel with the help of Bradley and everyone else. We're gonna be taking you guys through from start to finish, from warm-up day one all the way through the final day of the event. My warm-ups, my thoughts, each set, each TrackMan number. If you guys want more videos like this, long drive content where I actually take you guys into my tournaments, inside my mind, things like that, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. I don't want to say it again, but I'm just really looking forward to this kind of content. I really want to change the way my YouTube channel goes. I want it to be higher quality content, exciting, really gripping, and really worth your time to watch. We are arriving in Mesquite right now, and we're about to start hitting some bombs. I hope you guys are as excited as I am to watch these videos, and let me know in the comments if there's anything you want me to add or take away as you guys watch. This is completely open to criticism, anything, because I want this series to be just awesome. Let's go. Okay guys, so we're beginning our warm-up. The tournament's in 2 days. Tomorrow is just not going to be an option with the wind, so we're getting our warm-up in today. Got the TrackMan numbers set up. It's going to be downwind today, so the ball's going to go pretty far. I like to start out with my 45-inch play driver so that I can kind of work my way up in speed. I'm going to hit about 75 balls. It's pretty chilly today, maybe 60 degrees and windy, but it's very similar to what we're going to see on Sunday. It's going to be less wind, but a little colder, so it's going to be very similar temperature. This will be a good proxy for Sunday. I'm going to try to sit right around 150, maybe a little faster. Just get some swings in, just get the body moving, and get ready for Sunday. All right, so we're 2 swings in, and I always like to see how quickly my speeds ramp up because it gives me an idea of how my body's feeling. Here's the 2 shots I've hit so far. So we're already at 139 club speed on the second swing, and we're already getting 342 yards of carry. Obviously, there's a lot of tailwind, and I'm just getting started. I'm gonna sit at, as I said, about 150 miles an hour today. Not really gonna go crazy fast because I want to make sure my body's ready to go for Sunday. But I just want to get a feel for the very thin air, so your body's gonna move differently. It's important to really kind of understand how that works, you know, when you're in a different location. And hopefully, we're gonna be able to get some good footage with you for you guys, despite it being 20-mile-an-hour winds. So we're about 7 or 8 balls in. I'm starting to kind of work up to what I would consider starting to get close to a play speed with my play driver. So we're right at 144, 213, about where I like to be. So I'm gonna hit probably another 5, maybe 10 more with the play driver, and then move into a long drive club. Probably looking at maybe 60 hits, test out some of the heads, make sure I like how the ball's coming off the face. We'll probably wrap it up at about 75 hits total. We'll start hitting some dingers. So I'm switching to the long drive club now. Kind of got to where I want to. I wanted to get to about 145. As I said, I'm going to keep things right around 150 today. It's pretty chilly, and just kind of work on some swing paths and stuff like that. And something else to keep in mind when you're switching over to the long drive club, you gotta be a lot more patient when you let the club come back from the top because it's a longer club. It's gonna have a longer arc. So the first few swings, I like to have a little bit less effort so I can get acclimated to the longer arc that I'm making, and then I'll start building on the speed a little bit. That's kind of how I like to work into my play speed with the long drive club, because you just gotta be a lot more patient from the top. You can hit about 50 balls, the long drive club. That'll be a wrap for today. So we're about 5 shots in, and we're kind of at the speed I want to be at right now. Right at 150.8, 220. These are range balls, so that's pretty good. These are the numbers I'm paying attention to. Attack angle I want between about 5 to 10 degrees. Spin axis, that's literally exactly what I want. Negative spin axis means the ball is moving right to left. Positive means left to right. So this will produce a really tight draw. 154 feet of height, it's good. 1704 spin, really good. Club path is what I like. The landing angle, this is a firmer grid, so we want to keep this landing angle under 40 degrees. Means it's landing shallow, it's going to run out pretty nicely. 387 carry, more or less what we want. It's a pretty good ball today. Yes, I'll be paying attention to speeds, but I'm not concerned about my speed. I'm much more concerned about attack angle, spin axis, and spin rate, because those are the parameters that will create a very efficient ball flight, which will be good for distance. So yeah, I just want you guys to have an idea of kind of what I'm looking for. It's a little less obvious than some people might think, because everyone thinks speed. I've always liked to say speed is the long game of long drive. Flight characteristics like attack angle, spin rate, all those things, making sure those are good, that's like the short game of long drive. It's the boring stuff, but it's the stuff that gets checks. So it's very important. I'm switching between different heads, I'm kind of asking myself, how is the ball flying off the face? Do I like how it's starting? Do I like how it's flying in the air? And I'm kind of keeping a mental scoreboard of how each head is performing. After that, I'll make a judgment as to what I want to be my primary gamer, my secondary backup, things like that. Because obviously we just use one club, so we need to make sure that club's completely optimal for what we're trying to do. We're gonna move on to another head, and we're gonna compare this against that one. This one's hitting pretty good. This one's a bit softer, which means it's a bit slower, but it'll produce a more flat ball flight. This one will produce a little more ball speed. Get some swings with this, see how it feels, and kind of adjust as we go. I just explained to Bradley, when I look at these numbers, I'm not really looking at the top row too much. I'm looking at attack angle, spin axis, spin rate. Those are the three things that really influence flight of a ball. And I'm sitting right at 150. I don't want to go faster than that today because there's no reason to. I'm just trying to get a feel for just how my body is and how the club heads are. And I'm just trying to really replicate 6 to 8 degrees of attack, -1 and -5 degrees of spin axis, 1600 to 2000 RPMs of backspin as consistently as I possibly can. Speed will take care of itself, you know. You just got to make the swing and let adrenaline take over. It's kind of like working on the short game right now. It's kind of how it feels. But this is very important if you want to become not just a good long driver, but a long hitter of the golf ball for your speed. I've actually just switched to another head. This head's gonna have a tendency to be a bit faster club speed wise, but a little bit slower ball speed wise. And that can be beneficial when you wanna hit a lower spin. So that's kind of what I'm testing out right now. Downwind is probably not the driver to use, but if we're hitting into a headwind, this is probably a good head to try and experiment with. You're gonna hit about 15 to 20 a piece. Kind of go back and forth every 5 to 10 shots, see where the numbers are. So a lot of people don't realize in long drive, it's conditions. Conditions are everything, and you need to be able to adapt because they change hour to hour. A shot that was doing really well at noon in say the round of 16, by the time you're in final 8 at 2 o'clock, that shot could be getting its butt kicked by a lower shot or a high shot or however the wind's changing. Especially out in Mesquite, the wind changes literally every other minute. So you always got to be cognizant of that and kind of keep in your head the shots that you're trying to hit, which one is the best shot to hit, and then you got to execute it and kind of evaluate and kind of see what that's getting you. So that's kind of what we're working through right now. All right, I just wanted to kind of show you guys something here. So there's 2 different types of balls here. This is a Chrome Soft X, and this is a Top Flight bomb. This bomb ball is about 80 compression. This is about 95 compression. So if you come here to the numbers, I hit that last one with a Callaway practice ball. So its ball speed's 221.6. If I hit it with this ball, probably be about 219. So compression means a lot. For every about 10 points of compression, you're gonna gain or lose about a mile-an-hour ball speed. So 100 compression ball, that's 220 ball speed. If you hit it with a 60 compression ball, it might be 212 or 214. Compression means a lot, especially at these speeds. What I like to do, if you hit like say 20 or 30, then switch the file, hit 20 or 30 with another head, it can be a little misleading because you might be at a different physiological place on those 20 straight and then those next 20. If you switch every 5 to 7 swings back and forth, you're gonna get a lot better composite of all things being equal with your swing. What does the driver do? Or really, what does the club do? Something I've learned to give you a proper diagnostic process for your clubs. All right, so this goes to show how crazy the wind is right now. That was a perfect shot here, 2089 spin, -2 spin axis, 6 up. That's literally stock exactly what I want. But look at that, 423 carry, 448 total. But to be honest with you guys, the ground is very, very hard right now. Like, it is rock hard. That ball probably would have gone about 470 today. It's crazy. And if this wind was going the opposite direction, that ball maybe would have gone 320 yards. I'm not even kidding. Like, that's how much conditions matter in long drive. And honestly, even PGA Tour and in general for golf, keep that in mind. Conditions are everything, absolutely everything. So that's a pretty good carry. That's definitely a ball I'm going to be wanting to hit on Sunday. 220.
Effortless cruising.
This is with 4 layers on.
Yeah, I know.
So I think everybody's gonna be slower. Hey guys, this is my coach Bobby Peterson. So I'm about midway through the session right now. He's also runs the tournaments, which is pretty crazy. I figured it'd be good to have him on and let him know whether or not he thinks I suck right now. So
yeah, definitely don't suck. I mean, I know that you're sitting here kind of going through our cruising mode, just kind of getting like activate your body today and get a feel for the grid and the cold weather, because we were expecting this kind of the same temperature on Sunday and kind of the same wind as it is right now, because it's kind of calmed down from the day. So luckily you're not hitting tomorrow when we're expecting 30 mile an hour winds and 45 gusts. So
it's kind of a judgment call, but we decided to hit today because my body is going to be exposed to the same physiological conditions that are going to be present Sunday. Tomorrow, Saturday, it's Friday by the way. Saturday is going to be a wreck. Like, it's gonna be very hard to get any kind of good work in. He just told me to cruise at about 150 miles an hour, work on some angles at the ball, and he told me he thinks I'm hitting it okay right now. So we're just kind of comparing heads. And any other thoughts on how the session's going? What you're thinking about?
No, I think you're doing great with everything. I mean, obviously looking at the video and
looking
at some of the video and stuff, it's just like we played out. We had a good session before we came out here and kind of planned on this. It was actually the same temperature at home in North Carolina. So I think today is the first day you've actually hit with compression gear on this year, right?
Yeah.
So that's definitely different.
I actually have 3 layers of compression clothing on right now, and the reason that's important, when it's cold, you want to minimize bulk and maximize warmth so your body can create some speed. But the reality is, it's high 50s right now, and I think that's being generous. And there's a little bit of wind. It probably feels like low 50s. It's really not a good idea to push speed on days like this, which is why we're just trying to work on just grooving it, right around 150, just trying to hit quality shots. And as adrenaline piles on, as the day warms up on Sunday, I'm sure we'll creep up closer to 155 plus. But like for now, the most important thing is coming to long drive events with a good swing and a healthy body. You want to if you can come in with those 2 things, you can win.
So another thing is we talked about coming in is obviously the temperature, but higher altitude here, and the cold weather, just seeing how these new heads would work in cooler temperatures, high altitude. It's a big thing to control speed, but we also want to control our launch characteristics, spin rates, descent angles, things like that. And this grid's actually a little hotter this year than last year because they've had all the soccer games this year. So the field is actually taking a pretty good beating, so it's getting a good rollout. So ought to be pretty big balls this week.
Oh yeah, I wish I seen the grid today. It would have been so much fun.
Yeah. It's always fun as a long driver to hit when the wind's blowing out. We very rarely get that. Second club gave us exactly the number we wanted to hear, and the ball speed reflected that we were about 5 miles an hour faster. So we're not going to hit that head anymore in this cold weather. We'll shut it down and save that head.
This place is notorious. When the sun sets, it will drop 5 to 8 degrees like instantly.
So we're going to go back to the first one and go ahead and go through the rest of the practice session with it.
Yeah, because of the judgment call Bobby's making. He's not concerned it's going to imminently break, but what we want to do is when it's colder, the hits are going to have a much bigger impact on the face. So he's not thinking about it's going to break the next couple shots. What he's thinking about is this going to break, during the final 8 or the round of 16s. Yeah. He's listening for the sound changing, because as the CT migrates up, it gets closer to splitting. It's little things like that that make a big difference, when you're talking about just the driver and long drive. So we're going to finish off 5 more balls with this head. This head's only about 233 CT. It's a bit slower, so we can put a few hits on this, and it'll actually be beneficial to get it up further. This has had about 250 hits on. The one I just put away has had 400. So if that doesn't tell you how good Cobra's metal is, I don't know what will, because I've put beating on these heads and they're still holding up pretty good. All right, so that wraps it up for the warm-up. About where I wanted to be, averaging about 218, 219 with these balls is pretty good, especially in this weather. So it was a really good session, and I was just kind of watching ball flight, so hit a lot of good balls. My coach seems to be happy with it too, so that's always a good sign.
I mean, it's always important to have a good cruising average, because you're not going to be your fastest always, and that's not what practice is always about. It's about control, and then being able to push your body beyond that, right on the edge of being out of control.
Yeah.
I mean, but I was watching right there, you're real consistent with the angle of attack, which is what we talked about to kind of save your body a little bit too. Pushing it up there 11, 10, 11 degrees is not real good for your back.
It's just so important in this sport to take care of your body, and in a sport where you're pushing limits, your body's always at risk. It's always better to not let speed and pushing speed 24/7 get the better of you. Now, I certainly love doing it. Going 234 ball speed a couple weeks ago and 233 the week, a couple months before that, I'll do it. But only in certain times where I know my body can handle it and I take time to recover afterwards. Next time you guys see me, we'll probably be around a 32 on Sunday, so I'm ready to get it going.
Correct.
Ever since I started watching your videos, I was fascinated by how your second ball warming up, you demolished my top ball speed ever.
Yeah, dude, just keep working on it. It's a process. It took me 4 years to get decent at this sport.
Yeah.
So, just keep going through it and keep training.
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt what you were doing, but it was a lot of fun to watch you.
It's good to hear, man. Happy to hear that. Just keep working on it, bud. Best of luck tomorrow.
I appreciate it.
Early supporters here, so University of Montana.
Doing baseball, baby.